came in the league, went straight for the title. No time to idle, I'm finna get it, put that on the Bible. This is survival, gotta treat every move made like the final. 1 by a mile, nobody believe it, they all in denial. Hey, look at me, look at me, look at me. Still in the show, that's the crook in me. They want me gone with the hook in me. Asking why is he here like I shouldn't be. I've been on grind since Auto. 10,000 hours the motto. They see the bag is coming out, they flocking to me like I won the lotto. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. By any means. I gotta get it. I gotta get it, the mindset. I gotta get it, the mindset. Hey, back with a vengeance, back on the grinds, back to the business. Hey, God is my witness, they watching my moves like shows they binging. Hey, best keep distance, all of my haters send best of wishes. I get to the bag with the quickness, no I don't need no assistance, no. Yeah, no playing it safe. I said let's get it, you say not today. What can I say? If you ain't gon' go for it, get out the way. Yeah, got no time to waste. Can't be with me if you're not at my pace. You're not at my level, you're not in my race. One foot on the gas, I'm pushing the brakes. Dancing with the devil, there's no recital. I'm killing competition, ain't no revival. I shoot it to kill it, I'm aiming for vitals. I'm showing no mercy when facing my rivals. Snakes in the grass, they getting exposed. I know they be lurking, I'm watching them close. Acting like friends, but really they foes. Saw they be scheming and said adios. Yeah, I gotta get it. By any means. I gotta get it. I gotta get it, the mindset. I gotta get it, the mindset. I gotta get it. I gotta get it, the mindset. I gotta get it, the mindset.
For the final time of 2022, we are set to go racing with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship Series on iRacing.com. For those of you that have followed along all season long, you know just how exciting and dramatic the racing has been. You really never know what to expect and what is coming next with these drivers. Alex Bergeron's journey to try and become a record 4-time series champion may come to an end as 30-year-old Cameron Merriman out of Ellicott City, Maryland, has a chance at a huge upset victory here tonight. Between both drivers, they have a combined 1 victory all season long, but they have been very consistent all the way through. Who's your pick to be crowned world champion as we wrap everything up here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway? Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to continuing coverage of the virtual World of Outlaws Sprint Car Series on all of iRacing's social media platforms and, of course, DirtVision.com. My name is Chase Rodman. Justin Prince is here along with Arjuna Kankipati in the production truck. Justin, are you ready to crown a champion?
I can't wait to see how things fare out tonight. I've been hyped up to see how this championship fares out for the past week. This has been a season with victory. Not with for driver, driver that they
you can see it on your screen. All 10 we should persuade and it long and comes on camera the great and make history. This with numbers bring up a 13 and B as well.
championship to see how things play out without compared to battle it all out. In that campaign.
Yeah, nothing has been predictable so far this season. All these drivers, we've seen some incredible victories from different contenders all throughout the season. Obviously, Braden Eiler with a big victory. Some other guys along the way have won races, and it's been fun to watch. As we take a look, here's our championship contender graphic before we get ready for tonight's heat race action. Cameron Merriman, 13-point lead. James Eden's 24 points back, and then Braden Eiler mathematically eligible to win here tonight, Justin. Obviously, Bergeron has the best shot, against Merriman, but really James Eden's 24 back is not that far behind. He has a legitimate shot at this championship tonight.
Potential scenarios. We're talking about how because he is and have a almost if they keep playing could be right there to pick up the pieces if either of them struggle at any point.
I want to say that James Eden's team was able to get the victory here tonight, and Cameron Merriman, I want to say around 9th place with excluding all the heat race points, if they all came in with the same amount of points as they, into the feature as they do at the start of this night here, James Edens, if he won, Merriman would finish 9th, Alex Bergeron behind him somewhere. Edens would actually come out with the championship. Braden Nyler, on the other hand, has to have a lot go wrong for his, championship hopes to stay alive. And then we take a look here at the relegation line right there. Aiden Beerline, you see that red line, and then Gregory LeMay. 20 points to the good as Beerline, and that means, Justin, that as long as Beerline stays 15th or better in the points, he will be able to race in this series once again next year without having to requalify.
And to put it simply, if either Ducharme and Beerline miss the feature tonight, then that opens the door wide for LeMay and Shoot if they can make it in turn. Because we talked about in the past how big the point differential is. We're talking about up to a 30-40 point swing if you don't make the feature race. In our words, if you're the 25 and the 13, just make the feature, you'll be good.
And we look at the former winners here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We look at the guys like Tim Ryan, the champion of this series back in 2018. Alex Bergeron, he won it back in 2018. There was 2 rounds then. David Heileman, a former winner here at Charlotte. Dylan Hauser in 2020. And the most recent winner at this track was Tim Ryan for his 2nd victory, the only driver with 2 wins here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. One of the few tracks left that was on the original schedule back in 2018. So really, out of those 4 championship contenders tonight, Bergeron the only one that has gone to victory lane here at Charlotte.
And the main thing to emphasize when it comes to that, too, is at one time, there were 2 different dates on the schedule for a couple different seasons. And for some drivers, it was the matter of who's who in that first campaign specifically we're referring to. Tim Ryan, Alex Bergeron. They in one time became the only series champions so far. But then you became towards that point where a lot of different winners could break through to close out the season with momentum, like the David Hallemans or the Dylan Hausers, or Tim Ryan from 2020-21 when he was having a solid year, but not in the full-on mix by the end of the campaign of the checkered flag. But remember, Bergeron's always been consistent on his marks.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are just a few moments away here from rolling off with our first heat race of the night. Taking a look at the qualifying results here, Justin, tonight at Charlotte. Blake Majulis was quickest overall here tonight, followed by Cameron Merriman in 2nd in the qualifying rundown. Dylan Yeager, Hayden Cardwell, and Timothy Smith, the top 5 in qualifying here tonight. Then it was Evan C., Braden Shute, Gregory LeMay, and so take a look at the best 2nd in the qualifying rundown. We'd have to scroll way down the list here, Justin, to find the next best championship contender, James Edens. He is way down in around 15th or 16th. Alex Bergeron right behind him. And then Braden Nyler, 4th slowest on the grid here tonight.
And that's the biggest question mark, is going to be, can Edens and Bergeron make it to the pack now, because they qualified in the 12-3s for reference. If you want to be a pole sitter, you need to be in the 12-2s tonight. That's just the turn of things when it comes to this series. We talked about it a few years ago in particular, that the times have been razor tight in qualifying, and qualifying is ever more important. The drivers who set times tonight separated by just 3/10 for reference this evening. And now in turn for these competitors, that's going to make things so tense. And if you're Edens and Bergeron, you're now in that point where you'll have to play the catch-up game, Chase. And if you have to do that, and you struggle to get by traffic in your heat race, that's going to be big in terms of the heat points, but also where you start to be able to battle for that championship. And if you're either Edens or Bergeron, if you're looking at your heat grids, you need to be able to make it from the back to the front efficiently in about 5-6 laps if you want a true shot at a good starting spot.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the heat race lineups, James Eden's going to start from the 5th position in heat race number 4. And then later on, it looks like Alex Bergeron, actually, he's going to be in the first heat race with Blake Majulis on the pole, but Bergeron's going to start 6th. So if he, gets up into 4th, obviously he's going to transfer to the main event there, Justin. But after that, you finish 6th or in 4th in heat race number 1. That's going to line you up around, 14th or 13th, 14th position. and the pressure is going to be extremely high, coming in already at a disadvantage with a 13-point gap to make up. If Merriman can just do what he's supposed to do here on the pole of heat race number 2, he is going to be doing very, very well in the main event. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are experiencing some technical difficulties on our end at the moment. We're going to take a quick break, but don't worry, folks. You're not going to miss any of the racing action here tonight. Some technical difficulties on our end. We'll be right back. Welcome back here to the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. We apologize for the technical issues, but we do have things solved on our end now. And Justin Prince, well, a little bit of a delay here, but we're leading up to what should be a phenomenal finale here tonight for the 2022 season with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. I think it's going to, we had a little bit of a delay, but I think it's going to be worth it here as we take a look at the starting grid here tonight for heat race number 1 by virtue of going quick time here tonight. The driver on the pole, it's going to be the number 127 of Blake Majulis out of Asheville, New York, and to the outside of him, out of Rocheport, Missouri, the 86 of Timothy Smith going to start on the outside of row number 1.
Row number 2 features a driver who showed speed all season from Morrisburg, Pennsylvania. It's Tyler Show. He'll start alongside the 00 once more. That's Kendall Tucker looking to try and finish off the year strong.
Row 3 on the inside, your fifth starter, the 01 is going to be David Allen out of Dover, Pennsylvania. And to the outside of him, the 3-time and defending series champion comes into the night. Minus 13 behind Cameron Merriman if he wants to make it a record 4th title. Alex Bergeron out of Drummondville, Quebec, Canada will start from 6th.
Evan spot right on behind. That features Chris Zabeski. He is based out of West St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada. To round out the field for heat race number 1, that number 7 machine from Charlotte, North Carolina is Colin Keir.
Well, we talk about the points so far here tonight, Justin, and we've got to show you, or we got to talk about how these drivers accumulate points, because that is very important here on championship night. Obviously, if you've watched all season, you know what I'm about to say. 8 points to win each heat race, and then down to 8th position in the finishing order. There it is on your screen right there. 1 point per their position after in heat race action. Then in the feature, that's where things really get interesting. 3 points separated the finishing point or spot spots from 1st through 10th. After that, 2 points per position through 11th through 20th. And that's really going to come into play once we get to that 35-lap feature tonight.
Yeah, and keep in mind, the heat points are going to be so emphasized this evening because if you don't do well compared to your championship rivals, obviously, it may be the difference between 1 or 2 points that you'll have that separation magic number-wise for. In other words, expect Bergeron to send it fast to try and get into the bubble spots.
He's just got to make the show at this point. Starting 6th is going to be a tough ask. The green flag is back in the air. We're ready, underway. Heat race number 1, the final race of the season with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars. Bergeron going to work on the 00 of Kendall Tucker. 3 wide for second. Tucker is going to slide by 2 cars in turns 3 and 4. Back to the inside of him goes the 86 of Timothy Smith. Smith takes the second spot back. Tucker back to the inside. 2 by 2, 2 rows deep into turn number 3.
Tucker tries to slide up to clear on by, as well as Alex Bergeron. Bergeron, though, pitched up to the top line. Timothy Smith prefers to run the bottom against the inside of the track. A bad bobble off the corner, 3 wide as Bergeron goes for the bubble spots. He tries to slide to third. Will he get a break from Tyler Shell? Not yet.
Tyler Shell gets back by and puts Bergeron on the bubble spot. The driver that started outside the front row, Timothy Smith, now finds himself outside of a transfer position here as we're working away this time by 5 laps complete. 5 to go. Blake Majulis dominating here in heat race number 1. Kendall Tucker in 2nd. Tyler Shell in 3rd. Bergeron 4th. Right behind Bergeron, Timothy Smith hits the wall, loses a little bit of ground of the 12th car.
Will that open up the door, though? Keep in mind with all that bits of contact for Bergeron to go for the slide for third. He's trying it side by side for third again. Shell preferring the cushion. Bergeron tries to park the bus. The crossover attempt for Shell. A little bit of a lift on back for the 85. Some brakes there given. Elbows up similar sport machine, though, with the elbows for the cross and the contact.
Bergeron knows he needs every point he can with Cameron Merriman on the pole of his heat race. That could be huge come feature time. Those 2 points, Bergeron needs to stay in front of Tyler Shell to do everything he can to keep him close. He'll clear him and now slide himself into turn number 3 to protect that 3rd position. This time by 2 laps to go for Blake Majulis, who's enjoying about a half a second lead over the 00 car of Kendall Tucker. Everybody starting to get spread out just a little bit here. White flag coming this time by for Blake Majulis up front.
Trying to settle things on down, though. One driver flips it over. Chris Sebeski is out of contention for this one. Tyler Shell, though, looking for a chance to swap around for third. We go for the slide on Bergeron. No, coming to the checkered.
Checkered flag is out. Winner of heat race number 1, the 127 of Blake Majulis. He'll be on the pole of tonight's feature event, followed by Kendall Tucker in 2nd. Alex Bergeron will get 6 points for finishing up in the 3rd position. Behind him, it was Tyler Shell in 4th. That's the final driver heading to the feature out of heat race number 1. David Allen in 5th. Then Timothy Smith, Chris Sebeski, and Carlin Cure finishes up 3 laps down in heat race number 1. Now getting gridded up for heat race number 2. And on the pole, he is the current points leader with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series from Ellicott City, Maryland. It's the number 17 of Cameron Merriman. And to the outside of him, the 33 of Evan C. out of Chesney, South Carolina. He'll start from 2nd.
Driver with the happy smile from 3rd spot tonight is one Tracy, California-based driver, and Adam Elvey. He'll be starting alongside a driver with railroad experience. It's one that has made the headlines as of the past month. Manchester, Pennsylvania's Logan Rumsey.
Row number 3 on the inside. The driver rolling off from 5th is from Greenfield, Indiana. It's the 06 of Rylan Gray. And to the outside of him, from San Jose, California, it's the number 4, Ross Kaiser, starts from 6th.
An interesting way to pronounce that state, but the one driver who comes from that state as well just so happens he's starting right behind row 3. That's number 14 of J.D. Brown. And the last driver on the grid for this respective heat tonight goes to the number 91. That is Sherwood, Ohio's Ernie Williams Jr.
Well, here we go. A big heat race right here for Cameron Merriman, Justin. He's already gained, well, if he wins, he will gain 2 points on Alex Bergeron heading into the main event, which would put them at minus 15 apart for the 35-lapper. So Merriman, obviously, you always want to win a race when you start on the pole, but here tonight, you definitely want to hang on to the victory and, make that point gap larger and larger. So he's going to have his hands full, though. Evan C. has been so impressive this season, Justin. Got that win at Kokomo and has led several laps this year. Don't be surprised to see him get up there and maybe challenge for this heat race victory.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that bit of pace coming out from that machine, but I'm really expecting Cameron Merriman to have a bit of the elbows up because this is not just the 8 points. This is the chance to start outside front row for the feature and a chance to control your own destiny as the points leader.
Well, we'll see if he can hang on to a good jump start right there for the 17 of Merriman. Gets about 3 car lengths between himself and the 33 of Evan C. There's Adam Elby sliding into the picture there. Almost got into the side of Cameron Merriman. He'll now try and slide in front of the 33 of Evan C. Move the 74 of Elby into second for a moment. C turns it back to the inside, reclaims that spot down the front straightaway.
One spin to the back for Ernie Williams Jr. The rest of the field keeps on charging along, though. Elby settling in for third. Rumsey backing up the corner, though. Watch for the run for the 41. Has to check up on the exit, though. 3 drivers in a line make it 4. Rylan Gray, another railroad driver, is joining the fun to try and battle for second. It's Elby with the slide for P2.
Yeah, big move out of Elby right there, right across the nose of Evan C. He's going to have the spot at the start-finish line, but C right back in front of him in turns 1 and 2. There goes Adam Elby, going to cross back underneath him. Sliders coming into turn number 3. He'll take the spot back. Logan Rumsey's there as well, trying to make it a 3-car race for that second spot. And remember, Rumsey is actually battling for 5th in the points with Hayden Cardwell tonight, so Rumsey's trying to get up there and take a couple of these heat race points away.
And our slider, though, pulled by Elby coming to the halfway mark. C still battling hard as this continues to fare out. Remember, Evan C has made himself very well known to have speed from Chesney, South Carolina this season in the feature races. Watch an eye on C, and this one by the end. A bit of a turn away by Elby. A bit of a swerve away causes contact with him in the wall.
The 41 of Logan Rumsey will get by. Now Elby does not want to lose that spot. He'll try and drive back to the inside. Can't do it. Rumsey looks very fast right now, Justin. 3 to go, and Rumsey looks like he might be able to make the pass on C here. Down the back straightaway they go, and it's going to be C running the middle. Rumsey keeps his car on the top side. He's got to run down the front stretch. Will we see the pass here? No, he will follow him to the top in turn number 1.
The main thing is Rumsey is comfortable. He's got himself a good bubble and a good distance over Elby. But the main thing is, can Elby close up 5 car lengths in 2 sets of corners? White flag is out, final lap. Elby is busy with Rylan Gray, though.
Yeah, white flag. Here we come to the checkered. It's going to be the 17 of Cameron Merriman, putting himself in prime position here tonight. He'll start outside of the front row after winning heat race number 2. Second was Evan C. Third went to the 41 of Logan Rumsey. And fourth and final transfer, the 74 of Adam Elby. Behind him, the number 06 of Rylan Gray, the number 4 of Ross Kaiser, the 14 of J.D. Brown, and the 91 of Ernie Williams Jr. rounds out the field in heat race number 2. Heat race number 3 is on the Speedway now, and on the pole, it's car number 48, Dylan Yeager out of Hamilton Township, New Jersey. And to the outside of him, over the pond in Londonderry, Sydney, Australia, the 76 Braden Shute will start from second.
Third spot tonight goes to one of the drivers on that relegation line. Keep an eye on a base driver from Castleton, Vermont, specifically Tyler Showdown Time Ducharme. Rounding up the top 4 positions this evening goes to the 0 seed. That driver is Justin Big Sherman from Sacramento, California.
Row number 3, the 13 of Aiden Beerline comes in on the relegation bubble. If he finishes inside the top 15 in points, he will be invited back to the series next year, but he's got somebody hot on his heels right behind him there for that position. Also on the same row as him on the outside, it's going to be Felix Roy in the 91 from Naperville, Quebec, Canada.
One of the Quebec-based drivers as well is right on behind. That being Jeremy St. Louis, rounding up the field. Well-known veteran, the wheelman, Austin Sullivan from Wisconsin.
Well, as you folks have probably noticed so far, 10 laps in distance for each of these heat races. Top 4 will transfer on, but after this, if this is your first time watching, we will have 2 last chance qualifiers. Those will be 12 laps in distance, and the top 2 out of those will start at the back end of the field. That'll give us a 20-car starting field for 35 laps here at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So far, Justin, 2 of the 4 contenders coming into tonight have already put themselves in the show.
That's the important thing. If you're fighting for the championship, you need to be able to make it there in the first place. And the drivers we've talked about as the main players, the points so far picked up, but 2 points the advantage. After that one for Merriman in his run, gets that advantage up to 15.
Yeah, 15 points is the number at the moment. We still have to wait for James Eden to come out and Braden Eiler. The green flag is out in heat race number 3. They're already fanning out to 3 different lanes of racing in turns number 1 and 2. Up front, the race leader, the 48 of Dylan Yeager. Second spot is Tyler Ducharme. Braden Shute just rode the wall in turn 3, turns it back down the hill. Is going to cross up the 13 of Aiden Beerline and take the 3rd spot back.
Keep in mind that is going to be very important to make this feature race for amongst those cars. One driver spins to the infield in Justin Sherman, everyone else chugging along the cushion. The middle and the top lines working very well so far. Sullivan trying to get the bottom to work as he gets the popcorn seat for the battle for third.
Yeah, Beerline crossing back in front of the 76 of Braden Chute. Down the back straightaway, they come across the line. That time by 4 complete and 7 to go for your race leader, Dylan Yeager. But it looks like the 25 of Tyler Ducharme definitely keeping him honest up front. Yeager enjoying about a 5-car length lead as they work back into turn number 1. Here's the race for the transfer spot. Felix Roy going to try on the bottom to get by Braden Chute. Nothing going down there, and now that's going to really cause Roy some ground because here comes Selman and here comes the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis.
Look at them now, just past the halfway mark that time by Selman.
Your leader
to run to the bottom, and you just mentioned it. Dylan Yeager is up to the point right now and trying to close off and run away at the front as Ducharme tries to get himself 8 points.
Yeah, Yeager hit the wall off of turn number 2 the last time by, and Ducharme closes in. Ducharme looking for the slider to turn number 3. Pulls up alongside of Dylan Yeager. 3 to go that time by. We've got a race for the lead, the 48 and the 25. Duking it out for the win in heat race number 3. Behind them, it's a big gap back to the 13 of Beerline. Here comes Ducharme. He wants the lead. He wants it now. He's going to take it off at turn number 4.
A big slide from Ducharme, not done yet though for the race lead. Ducharme looking to close things on out and secure a top 15 here. Yeager up to the top, Ducharme with the squeeze. Ducharme parks the bus. The crossover for Yeager to the white flag.
They bang wheels down the front straightaway. Who's going to win heat race number 3? Ducharme back in front. Yeager crosses back underneath them. Oh, Ducharme slams the wall down the back straightaway. Final time in the turns 3 and 4. It's going to be Dylan Yeager by just about a car length and a half at the line. Yeager will get the win in heat race number 3 in exciting fashion over the 25 of Tyler Ducharme, who I don't know how held on to that thing after hitting the wall in the back straightaway. Aiden Beerline will come home in 3rd. Austin Semmelman from dead last to 4th. He's going to transfer to the main event. Then it was Braden Chute, Felix Roy, Jeremy St. Louis, and the 0Z, Justin Sherman, rounding out the field in the 8th position. Now, final heat race of the night. We've got some heavy hitters and some championship contenders here in this one. On the pole of this one, the most recent winner with the series last week at Weed Sport from Knoxville, Tennessee, the 07 is Hayden Cardwell. And to the outside of him from Reading, Pennsylvania, the number 99 of Gregory LeMay starts from 2nd.
Auburn, Washington is the home for the Silent Assassin. That is Lane Stevens starting from 3rd in this one. But Little Hurricane has had a very quiet season in his number 22H this campaign. He'll start in 4th from Pittsburgh, Indiana.
Your 5th starter in this one, currently 3rd in the championship standings, came into the night just 24 behind Cameron Merriman from Santa Rosa, California. It's the number 52 of James Edens, and to the outside of him, also from California, from Hanford, the 69 of Shea Pallow.
Don't forget, there's still mathematical chances for the number 5, based out of Pennsylvania, Franklin, Pennsylvania, to be precise, for the high side hustler, Braden Eiler, to charge his way to the fight. He starts 7th, and Landon Cardozo from Hanford, California, rounds out the final 8 in the heats.
Well, we talk about Braden Eiler having a mathematical shot at the championship tonight, but also he has a mathematical shot to drop from 4th in the standings. The guy on the pole of this race, Hayden Cardwell, only 29 behind for 4th in the championship, and I don't remember what the prizes exactly look like from 4th to 5th in the points, but I want to say it's either $500 or $1,000, so Cardwell's going to be driving the wheels off this thing tonight to try and take home that extra cash.
Difference is $500, in fact, U.S. dollars specifically. $1,000 for 4th place. 5th place gets $500 cash. So in our words, you definitely have that little bit of encouragement that can really help you, especially when it comes to Cardwell with Real World Racing and Eiler, who's also looking to race a ton.
Well, we'll see what happens here. Final heat race of the night. Hayden Cardwell is going to get on the gas. He'll lead the field down the front straightaway. Gregory LeMay going to have that 2nd spot entering turn number 1. Couple drivers trying to work the bottom. One of them is James Edens. He's going to get by Lane Stevens down the back straightaway. And now going to work on Mason Hannigan. Edens going to slide up but cannot clear Hannigan. Edens is up to 4th.
Not the greatest of starts for Edens, who needs to have good points as well to keep up with the championship leaders. Hannigan now in 3rd, parks the bus right in front of the 52 into the corner. Most of the field is preferring the top line now, Chase, compared to some who are mixing things up a bit. A bit more slick built up, but it's Edens with a good run down the back.
Yeah, he diamonded it off the corner, and that looks like it's where the speed is at. The 52 of Edens is going to slide in front of Mason Hannigan, take over the third spot. Now Edens going to try and catch up to the number 99 of Gregory LeMay and maybe gain another spot or another position, or points I should say, on Cameron Merriman to kind of ease that gap heading into the feature event. Edens looks like he's got the pace to maybe get up to the 99 car here. Still about 6 laps to go in this one, so Edens has plenty of time.
So plenty of time to be able to work things on nice and smoothly around the racetrack. And keep in mind, one of the other drivers around that cut line mark, LeMay, is in second with a bit of a different look tonight for the baby animal. And comfortable is that car machine as well. They're running 13 flats for reference. Here's Ivor, meanwhile. We mentioned he was the high-side hustler for a reason.
Yeah, he just hit the wall in turn number 1. Braden Eiler, man, he is wall riding that thing here tonight, trying to get by the driver in the 5th spot. That's Lane Stevens in the 33. Eiler turns it down the hill off of turn number 4. He'll slide in front of Lane Stevens into turn number 1, but that spot is not going to put him in the feature event. He's got to catch up to the red car up there. That's Mason Hannigan. Hannigan currently holding down that final transfer spot.
Yes, indeed, and the thing is, I've been listening a bit to Eiler. With 2 laps to go, he's not really cracked the throttle, Chase. He is going full send, full throttle. Wherever he ends up, that's where he will end up finishing, to say the least. Ivor wants the spot. He's going to have to push for one more lap.
Oh, in trouble for your second place car. Gregory LeMay has run out of fuel, or something is wrong with the car. He's off the pace, now back on the throttle. To the checkered flag, Cardwell wins it. Edens second. Third goes to Hannigan, and fourth goes to Eiler. So that is going to put all 4 of the championship contenders into the show, as LeMay has some kind of issue on the final lap, dropping him to 5th in the running order. Lane Stevens in 6th, Landon Cardoza 7th, and Shea Palo rounds out the running order there in heat race number 4. Not sure what could have happened there to Gregory LeMay, but that is going to really shake things up there in that heat race as we get ready to go here for the first of 2 last chance qualifiers, 12 laps, and the top 2 finishers will go to the back of the main event lineup. Let's take a look at this lineup here for this one. It's going to be the 01 of David Allen on the pole out of Dover, Pennsylvania, and the 76 of Braden Shute from Londonderry, Sydney, Australia. He starts second.
Third spot tonight in this first of 2 LCQs. Timothy Smith, keep an eye on that speed. Remember, did hit the wall a bit in his run. Well, Felix Roy looks to finish off strong. Look to try and finish off with a positive note, Chase, when speaking with them earlier this week.
We'll see if he can do that here tonight. Also in the field here, starting in the 3rd row, the 21 of Chris Sebeski. He's out of West St. Paul, Manitoba, Canada. And the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis. He's out of St. Hyacinthe, Quebec, Canada.
Rounding up the drivers in this run, Carlin Kier again, Charlotte, North Carolina, a hometown driver representing a sport, and Justin Sherman looks to avoid spinning in the infield for this one.
Yeah, he's going to have some work to do here in this one. He starts from the 8th position, like I talked about earlier. Only the top 2 will move on, and Justin, we've seen it several times this season. Sometimes the last chance showdown races are sometimes better than the feature because these guys are all hungry to get it in the main event.
That's an understatement. I think the most hungry, though, you have to say is Shute, because if he makes it in, makes things interesting for 15th. If he doesn't get the top 2, though, he doesn't make that cut line. Full story, Chase. So in our words, if you're Shute, you cannot make a mistake. If you're some of the others, you want to end off strong.
All these guys want to put it in the show, the final race of the season, and go out with a bang here tonight at Charlotte. The green flag is out. We're underway in the first of 2 last chance qualifiers. Already 3 wide for the second spot. Sebeski nearly getting into Braden Shute, who loses the transfer down the back straightaway as the number 7 of or the 86, I should say. Timothy Smith is up into second and working on David Allen for the race lead right through the middle of the racetrack. Give the lead to Timothy Smith.
David Allen, meanwhile, getting passed by like he's standing still as well. And the 0-1, and now he hits Shute. He puts himself in the 1-1 to boot. Allen to the back of the group. Here comes Sebeski to join the fun.
David Allen lucky to keep that car running. He's back up to 4th, crossing back underneath the number 1 of Jeremy St. Louis and the 0 of Justin Sherman. That was a close call off of turn number 4 between Allen and St. Louis, but the race is on for Oh, and Sherman drove it in deep, gets into the 21 of Sebeski, and collects Sherman as well. And that is going to take 3 drivers out of it. Meanwhile, up front, man, Timothy Smith and Shute with that crash, Justin, are enjoying a healthy lead over David Allen now.
Just have to make sure they avoid the cars in the infield, but also avoid making any slip-ups, and now they're in the comfortable spot. Bernardi Sabeski had his race in his heat, finished the same way, unfortunately. But for Timothy Smith, keep in mind, he's been right on the limit, it seems, Chase, right from the get-go. A few times has knocked the wall down in both the heat, and now for this LCQ, he's really close to sliding it up.
Yeah, Timothy Smith is right up against the concrete wall here tonight. Man, he couldn't have got any closer entering turn number 3 right there. And, well, sometimes, Justin, that is the fast way around, and you got to accept that risk of hitting the wall. And Timothy Smith is accepting, I should say, full risk of that right now. He's right on board with him. Great shot right there, right behind the nose wing. You can just tell how fast these guys are going and how quickly things happen in one of these wing sprint cars at dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Great speed indeed from that 86 machine. Keep in mind, Chute is keeping within range. In fact, Chute is starting to reel him in a bit. Last time by 13.2 for both of them, in fact. Just a little quicker back for Smith in turn. But Chute before that mark was getting him reeled in by a couple 100ths a lap. But 2 to go this time.
Yep, 2 laps to go. Timothy Smith and Braden Chute still looking strong here. Chute a little bit of a mistake right there in turn number 1, but the gap back to David Allen is about 2.5 seconds. He's in third and about to start fighting with Felix Roy as we now ride on board with the driver out of Londonderry, Sydney, Australia, Braden Chute. He's had a great season. He's done some impressive things in his rookie campaign, and he's going to make the show here tonight if he can just finish off this last corner. Here's the checkered flag. It's going to be Timothy Smith getting the victory and Braden Chute finishing up in second. Those two drivers will start from the 17th and 18th positions in tonight's main event. Felix Roy, David Allen, Carlin Cure, Chris Sabeski, Jeremy St. Louis, and Justin Sherman. Their seasons will come to an end in tonight's LCS. Now, the second LCS is on the racetrack and getting gridded up. The 06 out of Greenfield, Indiana, Rylan Gray will be on the pole, with the 99 out of Reading, Pennsylvania, Gregory LeMay starting from second.
Ross Kaiser starts in third position for this LCQ, and Lane Stevens, who had solid speed in his heat, starts fourth.
Row number 3, the 14 of J.D. Brown from Bakersfield, California, and the 114 of Landon Cardoso from Hanford, California on row number 3.
Freddie Williams Jr. had a spin early on in his heat. He'll start 7th for this one. And Shea Powell having a very solidly quiet night for a driver we've seen dominate in some LCQs, Chase. He starts 8th.
Yeah, interested to see what Shea Powell can do from the 8th position. We did see Austin Selman earlier on in the heat race come from 8th to transfer, but that was when we were transferring 4. We're only transferring 2 here in this one. So Powell is going to have his work cut out for him. And man, there is some tough customers in this one. Gregory LeMay, J.D. Brown, and Rylan Gray. Those are kind of the 3 I'm looking at here that Shea Powell is going to have to contend with, Justin. If he can pull it off, I'll give him a hat shake because there's, like I said, some tough contenders here. If he can get up to second after starting 8th, he's definitely got my respect for that.
And it's not going to be easy to do so in the first place because, first things first, he's got a teammate outside front row. He's got someone with working relationships towards the front as well, towards that front row. In our words, you're going to have to battle your friend Chase. And here's the thing. If you want to be able to make yourself known, to be able to make the feature week in, week out, sometimes you have to make the hard decisions that some will understand. You have to be able to make those daring moves to be able to make sure you're the top 2 in the LCQ.
Hey, got to be aggressive in these LCQs. There's no doubt about that as the green flag is out and we are racing the final preliminary race of the night before we head off to the feature event and crowning a champion. Rylan Gray out to the early race lead here in this one with Gregory LeMay running in second. Ross Kaiser going to look to his inside in turns 3 and 4. Kaiser likes the middle, and he's going to get some good grip right there, and he's going to slide in front of Gregory LeMay, or at least try to in turn number 2. Kaiser, the middle part of the racetrack starting to come in here, Justin, and he's going to take second.
Making it look fairly easy, in fact, on that run, but it's not over yet. 3 wide into turn 1. A pinch up for LeMay. A big send, though, for J.D. Brown. He takes advantage of everybody battling with each other. Powell gets hit with 3 wide. A big save for Powell as well as for Lane Stevens. But into the inside barriers nearly goes Powell. A big slide.
He's got
on
problems.
the inside.
Yeah, he's got a problem. I think after hitting Lane Stevens, there might be some damage to Shea Powell's car. He drops to the tail end of the field, but up front, it is Rylan Gray, followed by the number 14 of J.D. Brown, who started way back in the 5th spot. So good start to this one for Brown. Gregory LeMay going to have to get up on the wheel here for the remainder of this one. Now, Brown's not done yet. He wants the race lead. He's looking to the inside of Rylan Gray, side by side down the front straightaway.
2 drivers towards the back with some troubles, but they still battle in front at the head of the pack. Gray outside, inside for Brown. He slides the inside. Good speed from his machine tonight, but it's Brown with the advantage. He looks to clear. He does clear as Gray prefers the cushion, but it's Brown who's making the inside work.
And LeMay, that's what he wants to see. These guys battling for the race win. The last time by, he was 2/10 faster than Rylan Gray, trying to track him down and get that final transfer spot. That time by, Gray LeMay a 13.4 and Rylan Gray with a 13.5, but there's only 5 laps to go, and LeMay is really going to have to rip some laps off here to be able to catch up to the 06 and put himself in the feature tonight.
Brown looking to go and run off and away, to say the very least. Now, LeMay right now running 13.4s and is nearly knocking the wall down trying to get to Gray. The thing is, he needs some mistakes from the 06, and now he needs to pick up and quickly. He lost time that time because he nearly knocked the backstretch wall down.
Well, he hit the wall right there in turn number 1, and he is going to lose a ton of ground. And the number 4 of Ross Kaiser is all over him down the front straightaway, racing for the 3rd position. But like we talked about, only the top 2 making the show. So Kaiser and LeMay, they can battle it out all they want, but it's worth nothing. Here comes Kaiser. He'll throw a slider, take that spot away. LeMay back to the inside. White flag is out. J.D. Brown, an impressive run here in this one. Started 5th, takes the lead, and he's going to take the victory here. So long he didn't hit anything off at turn number 4. J.D. Brown got to get the LCQ2 victory. Rylan Gray is going to go to the feature along with him. 3rd spot, Gregory LeMay. 4th to Ross Kaiser. 5th to Ernie Williams Jr. Then Shea Pallow, Lane Stevens, and Landon Cardoza. Their seasons will come to an end here tonight in the LCQ. Well, with that, we are all ready to crown a champion. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's the 35-lap feature. Who will be a world champion here tonight with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series? Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Dirt Vision is home to all the greatest shows on dirt. World of Outlaws sprints, late models, and Super Dirt Car Series. You also get Dirt Car Summer Nationals and weekly shows from America's top tracks. Dirt Vision has the best all-around live coverage with flexible options for casual and hardcore fans. No commitments, cancel anytime, apps for most devices. Get your Fast Pass now at dirtvision.com. Every week, Dirt Vision brings you the best racing coverage from America's top tracks. You get high-speed thrills at the Big Half Miles at Williams Grove, where the Pennsylvania Posse roams, and Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world. There's also wheel-to-wheel action at Attica Raceway Park, Jacksonville Speedway's quarter-mile bull ring, and the tight turns at Huset's. Sprint cars are the main event, but there's plenty of other grassroots racing to satisfy every fan. See local drivers working to become the stars of tomorrow. Williams Grove, Knoxville, Attica, Jacksonville, Huset's. These tracks make up the weekly racing family, all season long on Dirt Vision.
Welcome back to the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for continuing coverage of Championship Night with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. We are just about set to turn the grid up here and get these drivers ready to go for 35 laps. Man, Justin, you can feel the excitement. At least I can here. These drivers, especially Cameron Merriman, got to be feeling pretty nervous.
Especially since for Cameron Merriman, a chance to make history, become the third different winner of this championship in series history, and break a streak that's lasted for years with Alex Bergeron, 3 consecutive in fact or so. It's not going to be easy though to get this job done tonight at the dirt track at Charlotte.
Well, let's find out where everybody will start here tonight on the pole. The driver is out of Asheville, New York. He's a former late model series champion on iRacing. Now, number 127, it's Blake Majulis. And on the outside of the front row, comes into the night with a 15-point advantage over the 3-time champion. The number 17 out of Ellicott City, Maryland, Cameron Merriman, starts second.
The number 48 machine has showed speed in flashes throughout the campaign. Carry that speed to the heat races tonight. It's Hamilton Square, New Jersey's Dylan Yeager. And he'll start alongside the driver who struggled in the early portion of the campaign, but has been the most red-hot driver of the second half of the year. It's Knoxville, Tennessee's Hayden Cardwell.
Row 3, the 00, Kendall Tucker from Mount Airy, North Carolina, starts from 5th. And on the outside of him, the 33 out of Chesney, South Carolina, it's Evan C.
7th spot tonight goes to a driver who's known to be showtime. It's Tyler Ducharme from Vermont. He'll start alongside one of the championship competitors. That's the Santa Rosa, California-based driver, James Edens.
The 3-time and defending series champion starts from 9th. The number 12 of Alex Bergeron from Drummondville, Quebec, Canada. He's got a lot of work to do in this one. To the outside of him, the 41 of Logan Rumsey starts from 6th.
The next spot starts outside the top positions on the racetrack. That is Aiden Beerline, Mason Hannigan 12th, Shelwyn Elby, Simon and Iwer, Smith and Brown. What's the top 18? It's Shooting Gray with the LCQs tonight. Fasten your seatbelts. It's a chance to make history, and it's all coming down to how these next 35 laps turn out.
We're about to find out what happens. Going green this time by off of turn number 4. If Alex Bergeron wins, Cameron Merriman must run 5th, because if he finishes 6th, Bergeron would have the tiebreaker. If James Edens wins, Cameron Merriman must run 9th to be able to hang on to the championship. Let's find out what happens. We're green at the dirt track at Charlotte. Who will be the champion with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series? Into turns 1 and 2 down the back straightaway. The 127 of Blake Majulis to the early race lead. Merriman running in 2nd, Yeager in 3rd, Cardwell in 4th, and Kendall Tucker in 5th as they cross to the lead lap number 1.
Starting things off nice and calm. Majulis preferring the bottom side to start. Merriman preferring the top. A little bit of a lift down the back stretch, though. Merriman made contact. Majulis now forced up to the cushion, though. Side by side, make it 3 wide for the lead.
Merriman wants to go out on top here tonight, the championship and the victory. He takes the lead, but the caution is out. And it is for Austin Semmelman in turn number 1, the 18 car getting turned around. I'm not sure who's going to be in the race lead at the time of the caution here, but the caution, like I said, out for Semmelman after contact with what looks to be Timothy Smith in turn number 1. And we'll have to take a look at the replay here. Looks like a checkup here. The 41 of Rumsey getting on the brakes and Semmelman running into him right here.
Yeah, because Rumsey was getting bobbly and wiggly underneath Beerline. Had to check up a bit right in front of Settlement at the time. Settlement in turn pinpoints off of Smith. Brings out the first caution, but you can see with that 127 up to the front, he got the scoring loops. He's still the leader.
Yeah, so Blake Majulis is the race leader. Cameron Merriman, I am surprised right now, Justin, how aggressive he is early in this race. 15-point gap, that's 5 positions on the racetrack inside the top 10. And he is fighting hard for the race lead here. I thought for sure he would kind of just lag back, watch what's going on in front of him, just make sure he doesn't get caught up in an incident, and keep track of where Alex Bergeron is at on the racetrack.
Well, here's the thing. Cameron Merriman has been close to 2 feature wins in the past couple of weeks, Chase. And both times, it was either self-inflicted mistakes coming to the white flag, or a 3-second lead evaporated by a late caution, and not having the best of restarts. That, of course, happening last week. If you're Cameron Merriman, you want to win a championship, but you also want to be able to at least win a feature on top of things. You don't want to end up going winless in the feature category.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see the champion not have a feature win. Cameron Merriman's been a model of consistency all season long. But here we go. The pace truck is off. We're coming back to the green flag. 3 in, 32 to go. It's Blake Majulis, Cameron Merriman, Hayden Cardwell. The top three. Cardwell gets a good restart. He'll look to the inside of Merriman in turn number 1. Majulis makes a mistake. Merriman to the outside down the back straightaway. Majulis will have the lead in turn 3, but Merriman, just like what we saw before the caution, he'll take the lead in turn number 4.
It's not over yet, though. Majulis wants to get himself another feature win of the campaign. He showed speed early on in this season, looking for some luck after a bad stretch in the mid-portion of the campaign. The 127 with the slide from the bottom to the top. The crossover back, though, from Merriman. He dives back to the race lead and brings Cardwell with him.
Merriman leads lap number 6. Cardwell, like you mentioned there, takes second for a moment, but Majulis crosses back underneath of him, takes it back. Now Majulis, he wants the lead. He'll slide in front of Merriman. He'll take the lead back. Merriman crosses back to the inside. A phenomenal 3-car battle for the lead early on in this one at Charlotte. Now Cardwell tries rolling the bottom, takes second for a moment. Majulis back around him on the outside and takes back the second position, but Merriman looks very strong and showing that he belongs up front here in this one, but he's on the top of the racetrack. We saw him leading at Fairbury, got into the wall with 1 lap to go. He's got to be careful. He does not want that right rear tire to grab that concrete wall here tonight.
Especially with what happened just a few weeks ago. Yes, indeed. Meanwhile, keep in mind, most of the field has started to elect to run towards the very top. First driver to the inside. Guess who? It's the 48 Dylan Yeager. And guess who's alongside now? Alex Bergeron is moving in quickly. He's currently boxed in behind some drivers in the midst of the top 5 fight. A little bit of ways back on the 127 and the 17.
Yeah, now Bergeron is up into the 6th position, so 5 spots behind Merriman. Also, James Egan's update on him. He's up into the 9th spot in car number 52. So the 3 championship contenders all inside the top 10. Up front, though, it's all about Cameron Merriman, a 14.06 the last time by. Majulis with a 13.9. So Majulis has the rod and reel out. He is tracking down the number 17 of Merriman for the race lead. Cardwell slipping back slightly. Kendall Tucker in 4th. And now Bergeron sliding in front of M&C, move him up to the top 5.
Not over yet, though. C wants to fight back. The 33 tries to run the middle, give some space to Bergeron, and give it fully to Bergeron. Alex Bergeron now to the top 5. Also, guess who is coming with him? The 52 of James Edens. Yes, he's still in this fight, too, mind you. He's still in 8th spot, and then he's picking up the long run pace. The king of the long run for the midway is joining Bergeron in his charge up as Bergeron nearly meets Tucker.
Yeah, Kendall Tucker got into the wall in turn number 4. That allows Bergeron to go by, move him up into the 4th position. But I think he's going to need a caution if he wants any shot at running down the top 3. Those guys are way in front. About a second in front of him is Cardwell, Majulis, and Merriman. So Bergeron hoping for a caution here, but he's got the top side of the racetrack wired. The race is on for second. The 127 of Majulis and the 07 of Cardwell really duking it out here as they work down the front straightaway just past the halfway mark here at Charlotte.
Still preferring the top line is Majulis. Very keen on sticking to his strategy, it appears, is Majulis. Cardwell, remember, he usually prefers the top, and I think Blake knows from the scouting report, you give him that space, he'll take that space. Cardwell might be forced to try and go for the slider. Will he go for it here? He's thinking about it. Not able to get the momentum he needs to quite yet for the send.
Man, and Bergeron is tracking these guys down in a hurry. He was 3/10 faster the last time by than both of these drivers, and all of a sudden the 12th car in the back pocket of Hayden Cardwell in turn number 3. Bergeron trying to at least stand on the podium here tonight and make it interesting here in the championship fight and put the pressure on Merriman. You know, Justin, that Merriman knows, and he can see Bergeron back behind him on the relative screen. I'm sure that Merriman's spotter is telling him what's going on behind him as Bergeron looks to set up the 07 of Cardwell.
Yeah, this is going to be nerve-wracking if you're that race leader right now and your championship leader, because Bergeron is one of the quickest drivers in the racetrack in clean space. The tough part for Bergeron, though, is with already under 15 to go this time, he still needs to find a way to get around these cars and then close up the 1.2 seconds or so up to Merriman. We've seen it happen before, Chase, but you have to the pass done in the first place, and Bergeron seems to be struggling to find a way around.
Yeah, he caught up to him quickly, like you were talking about, Justin. Got there fast, but cannot make the pass on Cardwell, who tags the ball down the back straightaway. And Bergeron, I'm telling you, he could not get any closer to the wall in turn number 3. And the top of the racetrack is starting to get pretty rough up there. It's not smooth at all on both ends of the speedway. We'll see if Bergeron, if he tries something, yes, he'll look to the inside, trying to take second. Starts trying to take third and trying to take second. He's got third for a moment. Cardwell crosses back underneath him, takes the spot right back.
That's a sign of desperation, you have to think, Chase. Coming up to 10 to go this time, he knows he has to go. He has to go now. He can't afford to wait. He needs to finish this pass. The problem is, he's struggling with it 2 times now. The same move, he's clocked the wall.
And that might be the nail in the coffin for Alex Bergeron's championship hopes. Less than 10 laps to go. And Cameron Merriman enjoying an 0.8 of a second lead over the 127 of Blake Majulis and the 0.7 of Hayden Cardwell. Alex Bergeron back in 4th, Evan C. in 5th. And now James Edens working on Kendall Tucker for the 6th spot. Just in case any craziness happens up front, Edens wants to put himself in good position to maybe capitalize on a huge mistake up front.
And you never know what can happen in the closing stages. We've seen that last week with Weedsport. We've seen that with the last time before that mark, Merriman had been in the lead. But here's the thing. Merriman's lead is actually shrinking a bit. He lost a 10th last time. A little quicker the past time as well was Majulis. Everyone is really in the 17, coming towards 6 to go.
You know Cameron Merriman is shaking behind his steering wheel right now, knowing he is less than 6 laps away from $10,000. Can he hang on? We've seen him make mistakes throughout this campaign. Fairbury, he was leading on the last lap, hit the wall and flipped. Last week at Weedsport, he was leading on the last restart. He fell back to 4th, and now he's got less than 5 laps to go to hang on for the championship with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Meanwhile, behind him, Majulis, Cardwell, and Bergeron all tracking him down.
14-4 last time for Merriman, about 2 tenths nearly lost. That time to the 2nd through 4th place drivers. All Merriman needs to do is hold on to it. Don't give this up. Don't fall back too much if you do. Get around the 1-lap car and Adam Elby quickly. Merriman just about 2 laps away from history.
2 laps to go, this time by for Cameron Merriman. Blake Majulis behind him by 0.4 of a second. Cardwell 3rd, Bergeron 4th, and then it's 4 seconds back to Evan C. The white flag is up in the stand. Cameron Merriman coming around, trying to be just the 3rd different driver to win a championship with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. The driver out of Ellicott City, Maryland, the 30-year-old, through 3 and 4. They race behind him, but Cameron Merriman is the 2022 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series champion. The 17 car gets it done, and it is first win of the season. He does it in commanding fashion here tonight. The win and the championship in one fell swoop. Congratulations to Cameron Merriman. He will be down in the history books for the entire duration of sim racing on iRacing.com. Merriman is the 2022 champion.
An absolutely emotional and dominating end to this one for Merriman. So many different wild roller coaster moments. So many close calls to get to victory lane. And he walks it off to end the season. For Merriman, for one of the more well-respected drivers in all of the platform, in all of the discipline on the service, he is a champion. You can't take that away from him.
Cameron Merriman's such a nice guy. It's hard to not like him. We'll talk to him here in just a few minutes. Merriman wins it. Cardwell 2nd, Majulis 3rd, Bergeron 4th. And so that streak of championships will come to an end here tonight for Alex Bergeron. Evan C. 5th. Valiant effort for James Edens, the other championship contender. Kendall Tucker, Tyler Shaw, another valiant effort as well for Braden Eiler in 9th. Mason Hannigan finishes up in 10th.
11th spot tonight to close out the season. Dylan Yeager, remember, was top 5 final half of the run. He dropped to 11th at the end. Tyler Ducharme closed out his run with the 12th place finish. Rumsey in 13th, 14th to Aiden Beerline. J.D. Brown to 15th place. 16th went to Shoup. Gray, Smith, Albie, and Sullivan round out the entrants. Of note, Smith, Albie, and Sullivan were all laps down to end the season.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have now crowned a new champion. We're going to talk to him here on the Victory Lane stage here tonight because not only did he win the championship, he won the race. We'll be right back here for more coverage here tonight at the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Shows on dirt, World of Outlaws sprints, late models, and Super Dirt Car Series. You also get Dirt Car Summer Nationals and weekly shows from America's top tracks. Dirt Vision has the best all-around live coverage with flexible options for casual and hardcore fans. No commitments, cancel anytime, apps for most devices. Get your Fast Pass now at dirtvision.com. Every week, Dirt Vision brings you the best racing coverage from America's top tracks. You get high-speed thrills at the big half miles at Williams Grove, where the Pennsylvania Posse roams, and Knoxville Raceway, the sprint car capital of the world. There's also wheel-to-wheel action at Attica Raceway Park, Jacksonville Speedway's quarter-mile bull ring, and the tight turns at Huset's. Sprint cars are the main event, but there's plenty of other grassroots racing to satisfy every fan. See local drivers working to become the stars of tomorrow. Williams Grove, Knoxville, Attica, Jacksonville, Huset's. These tracks make up the weekly racing family. All season long on Dirt Vision.
Welcome back to the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for continuing coverage of Championship Night with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car World Championship here on iRacing.com. We have now crowned a new champion. The reign of terror that Alex Bergeron has had on this series for the last 3 seasons has come to an end, and we are now standing here with the newly crowned champion, Cameron Merriman, out of Ellicott City, Maryland, gets the job done here tonight. Cam, the emotions right now. I mean, you've got to be shaken. You've got to have so many things running through your head right now. We've got you here in the broadcast booth, my friend. What are you thinking?
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I think the season was really a mixed bag of missed opportunities. These last few weeks have been grueling, and it's been insanely challenging to get back on the horse, and come back after Fairbury. Last couple minutes, actually like 12 seconds from the race win, right, and choked it out and couldn't quite seal the deal last week at Weedsport with a really tough restart with Hayden. So, I mean, overall, the season has been insanely cutthroat. The caliber of talent of the drivers this season has been maybe the highest of, certainly one of the highest it's ever been. And with the advent of the new tire model too, we're all really set back to ground zero and trying to figure out how to find speed and how to be competitive. So, it's surreal. I can't believe I'm sitting here chatting with you guys now, especially after the, bad luck and also a lot of that being self-wrought and just making mistakes. So, I'm incredibly humbled to be here chatting with you guys. Appreciate you bringing me on. This is nuts.
We all knew coming into the season that Alex Bergeron was the guy to beat. I mean, you look back through the history of the series, besides the inaugural season when he finished second to Tim Ryan, he has all but dominated, coming into the championship round with basically no mathematical shot for anybody else to win. And here tonight, you came in with about a 13-point lead. Just describe the season. I mean, it's hard to believe that we are talking to you here tonight after the amount of dominance that he showed over the course of the last 3 or so years. Just how rewarding is it knowing that you beat, probably the best to ever do it in this series?
Yeah, it's always, awesome and humbling at the same time to beat Alex on any given night. And, this season has been really difficult, especially because, I definitely wasn't dominant at any point during the season. I really kind of came in with a skin of my teeth lead there at the end. And ultimately that was due to, Alex's pace, for whatever reason, fell off a little bit at the end of the season, but also he had some really unfortunate internet issues and disconnects, right, that robbed him of 30 to 60 points. So I think that, midpoint of the season, he was poised in a position to maybe run away with it like he has in the past, but, issues on his behalf, either self-rot or not, they closed the gap, and then, that last bout, these last couple weeks, it's really been up in the air, and I certainly had no expectation for how tonight was going to go. I was willing to walk away from this with a sense of pride and at least knowing that I had given it my best, regardless of whether I came away first, second, or third. James was certainly sitting there in the catbird seat if me and Alex got messed up, but it's just the mentality of this series is really grueling. You come in here each week and it feels like forever, and it almost is. It's almost 2 months or 3 months of this, and it feels like it never ends because the pressure is so high. In real life, you can show up to the track, and I later this year we will show up to the track. Everyone gets like 5 laps of practice. In the sim, it's so cutthroat because there are so many talented people that can invest many hundreds, if not 1,000 laps a week on a given track, and they know every single nuance associated with the track development and what they need to do with the setup. That really that's the analog that doesn't exist in real life, and it makes it really challenging because the margins by which you're able to pull gaps over people diminishes greatly. So all of those things together, I'm sitting here with you guys, and I'm just proud that I was able to make it, but also incredibly thankful that I had good fortune go my way when I needed it to. And that we were able to put on some really awesome racing throughout the season.
Describe the last 5 to 10 laps of this race, knowing that you're mere minutes away from $10,000 and being the champion. And I'm sure you were getting nervous and getting shaky. And of course, tonight the track ends up riding against the fence where you can't make any kinds of mistakes. Just describe those last 5 to 10 laps for us.
Yeah, you don't have to ask me twice, Chase, because you should have asked me that question if you guys had brought me on for Fairbury, because I think I got in my head thinking about, wow, I was ready to punch the sky at Fairbury, because I had finally been able to claw my way back and find a victory, starting, I think, 6th on the grid there. And then I bungled it with 4 corners to go. So I definitely turned inward throughout the past week and tried to find some layer or some modicum of self-focus to not let my mind drift, because, you're right. The cushion was incredibly bumpy and very unstable, and so I was telling my dad, Curtis, who hangs out with me on Discord and chats with me throughout the race, that this time around I didn't want anything on comms. I just wanted to take it corner by corner and keep it in my head, because once you start letting your mind drift of, oh, I only got 5 laps left, I might come away with this thing, that's exactly the moment that you make a mistake. So I definitely had some meditative thoughts over the last week to try and hone my focus and keep a heart of steel, and I'm really happy that I was able to come away without messing this one up,
Well, a lot of people are proud of you. I'm sure it was an incredible season for you, and you are the 2021-2022 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series champion. Congrats, my friend.
Thank you very much, guys.
Cameron Merriman will go down in the history books as a champion with the World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. The driver that comes home in the second position here tonight, and his car really came on there at the end of the race, was Hayden Cardwell, and he's going to talk to Justin Prince.
Yes, indeed. Hayden Cardwell got into a massive slide job battle towards the final corners in the backdrop of Merriman crossing the stripe. quickly passed by Blake Majulis, in fact, coming into the final corner. Hayden, a great second half of the season for you, ending off the second half in turn, overall, should say, with about 6 top 10s. How are you feeling about P2 tonight?
Yeah, it feels great. Track was brutal tonight. It was really rough. All of us was struggling to even just hold a grip on the wheel. It was beating us all around the place, but I thought we were just settling in for third there, and Cam had no reason to push it all there towards the end of the race, and it allowed me and Blake to close in there through the final stages. Cam was just making sure what happened at Fairbury didn't happen again. I told him before the race that nothing last weekend was personal at all, so I wanted him to go out to win, and he provided the best 35 laps he's put on all season, and really happy to see him win, but Blake hit the wall there off turn 2 and allowed us to get us another top 3 this year.
Another strong podium to end off the campaign. We talked about this a little bit in the past, but in the second half of the season, 2 feature victories. Average finishes 6th by the end of the campaign. Actually, the same average just about as Alex Bergeron. How would you describe how this all played out for you the second half, trying to recover after the bad luck, the bad stretches, the bad finishes for the first 4 or 5 weeks?
Just kind of had to put all that behind us. Every week I come out here and just try to be the best I can, and we're going for the wins. So some of the stuff that happened at Fairbury for me and like Knoxville, if I could have been a little bit more cautious, the wreck with Bergeron probably wouldn't have happened. Probably could have got another win to the resume for this year, but all in all, it's been a pretty good year for us considering the first week and everything that's happened. So to come back and finish 5th in the series, we were only a couple spots behind Braden there. I think if Greg didn't think that there was still one more lap in the heat race there, I think we could be talking different on the spot between 4th and 5th there. But we'll take 5th and see what happens next year if they bring this still back.
Definitely an intriguing run you had this campaign. Will say P5 in the championship, currently unofficial. 5 points back, and Brendan and I were in the end with the recovery of the second half of the season. But what is next for you now in terms of sim racing in the real world? Because I know you are one of the drivers in the field who's done a lot of the real world.
If there's really nothing too special happening on here, everything is just going to be focused on the real life stuff. If there's something that comes up that's worth running, I'll probably get on and race it. But we just really don't have as much time as we like to used to. Like I said, the preparation that went on to this year just wasn't there. So even to come home 5th is a really big achievement for me. But we'll still be around if something comes up. But you definitely will not see me on here as much as I used to be, or as much as I would like, because if I had the time and stuff, I would still like to be on here as much as I used to be, because it's a fun little deal to just come on here. We're not, once you get invested, we're not spending any more money, so it's a pretty cool deal to have, and hopefully World Outlaws and iRacing brings this silver back on. I think it was probably one of the best championships we've had for the sprint cars. I think with the late models in 2019, there was 3 cars that could have won it into the final race with Blake, Kendall, and Alex. So this year to see 3 cars battling for the championship again, it's pretty cool to see. So congrats to Cam again, once again, Alex for 2nd, James for 3rd. They had hell of a years, all 3 of them. So we'll look forward to racing with them again.
Congratulations on your strong second half of the season and your 2nd place in this one, Hayden.
Thank you.
Hayden Cardwell finished in 2nd to close off the season, feature race wise. But one of the notes to mention is there were plenty of feature winners this season. The most wins was just 2. Most wins by a wide variety of drivers. The multiple drivers, should say, in series history. Blake Majulis was one of them, Chase.
Yeah, Blake Majulis definitely had a great season here in his rookie campaign in the sprint cars, and tonight finishes off with a solid 3rd-place run. Blake, you led early in that one, but, it took me by surprise. I'm sure it took you by surprise as well how aggressive Cam was there at the beginning of the race to control the race. And then after that, you kind of just rode in 2nd and looked like you were able to kind of maintain pace with Cam. And then late in the race there, Hayden got by you. Alex was in the mix as well, and it was kind of a wild ending there.
Yeah, he was just, in the beginning there, he was, I knew he'd be good on top, and I knew he was running top. I kind of wanted to run middle there, but quickly found out that wasn't the way to go, and I had to get up. And by then he already got me, and I couldn't cross him under on the slider. He just had too good of a run, and I followed him the whole race there, and then at the end I started clicking off some really fast laps, and man, I think we were only 3 or 4 car lengths behind him there on the last lap, so we definitely closed the gap, and then hit the wall there off 2, and Hayden was able to get by, but I was giving it everything I had the last few laps there to get back to him.
Well, 1 victory this year, along with 4 top 5s and 6 top 10s. How would you rate your rookie season here in the sprint cars? I mean, getting a win in itself, I would say, is a pretty big achievement, but what would you, kind of rate yourself there?
I don't know. I'm not very good. I don't know. It's not really that good of a season, really. I mean, I was surprised to get a win, but after winning, you got really high expectations, and then you got some bad races in there. It's a bummer, really. We didn't make a few races and gotten a couple wrecks, and we haven't finished the last 2 or 3 weeks. So, we still got a top 10 in points and got a win, and like you said, a lot of top 5s and a few top 3s. So, I mean, really, when you look at it, it's not too bad of a season. Just it's a bummer, but hopefully next season's a little bit different.
And not sure where it's going to shake you out, around 9th or 10th in the standings to cap off the year. But Blake, it was a lot of fun to have you along for the ride. Definitely one of the top drivers in dirt racing on iRacing.com, and you were a great addition to the series this year. It was a lot of fun to call the races with you in them, and congrats on a good season, man. And we hope to have you back once again next year.
Yeah, I appreciate it very much. Thank you, guys.
Blake Majulis finishes up in 3rd here tonight to cap off the 2022 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series. Well, Justin, we've got our interviews complete. Cameron Merriman is the 2022 champion with the greatest show on the virtual dirt here tonight. Just a huge upset in and of itself. I'm not surprised because I remember thinking back to Volusia earlier today, Justin, and I remember you saying that a lot of the contenders in this series were talking about how he was going to be a factor come championship time.
Yes, indeed, especially knowing how he was doing during the offseason with the various special events, especially in the top league competitions when it came to that action chase, because he was a driver who dominated the circuit in the summertime. Then he had some injuries in his real world action. Then there was the changes to the car. And that was the reset period for some drivers in turn that had to reconfigure things. And for Merriman, it took some time, yes. But here's the thing. He was always in the top 10. Outside of the one time, coming to the white flag, he flipped upside down the front stretch. He finished in the top 10 every week in the feature. And that's the thing. Consistency wins championships. He was the most consistent driver for the season. He was the most well-deserving driver in that regard this season. He was consistently quick everywhere. He had the best average start despite no poles. He had the best average finish. When you look at it statistically, you look at it eyeball-wise. You look at it from your heart-wise. You look at it from the perspective of the drivers and competitors' side. Cameron Merriman had the speed to do this job this season. And he proved that he was a worthy champion in the end.
He sure did, and his humbleness is what I admire the most of him. I mean, he was so humble about everything all season long, and even in the championship interview after, the David and Goliath situation, beating Bergeron after being 3-time champion in a row, he was just so very humble. So, I mean, it was awesome to see, awesome to hear how excited he was, and he is now $10,000 richer. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is all we have for the coverage here tonight. And for each and every one of you that are still watching and watched every broadcast all season long with the greatest show on virtual dirt, we thank you so very much for your support. Tyler Maxson, Arjuna Kankipati in the production truck, Justin Prince doing a great job all year long. My name is Chase Rodman, and we would like to once again congratulate Cameron Merriman on becoming the 2022 World of Outlaws NOS Energy Drink Sprint Car Series World Champion on iRacing.com. Well, ladies and gentlemen, keep tuned in to iRacing social media platforms to find out when this series will fire off once again. But until then, we'll see you guys out there.